Hey everybody, Ace Channel here, and it's Tuesday, so welcome to another episode of Form Fight. Form Fight is a series where we take a look at a Pokemon with more than one form, or a branched evolution, or a counterpart Pokemon. We have a look at the differences between the Pokemon in question, and we try and work out which one is the best. And so we can see these Pokemon in action on the battlefield. We also have a metronome battle between them, just for a little bit of fun. If you're a fan of Form Fight, make sure you hit the like button, and of course hit subscribe if you're new, so you never miss an episode. This video today is of course sponsored. Just kidding, I'm just preparing you for that kind of thing, in case we ever do get any sponsors for the channel, because, you know, boys gotta eat, and YouTube ad rev is all up and down. But if you want to support the channel, there's a little members join button next to the subscribe button or something, or I'll put a link in the description. Click that as well and you can support the channel, or you can support me on Patreon, or you can support me over on Twitch by subscribing on Twitch. So there's loads of different ways to support the channel if you'd like to. Super appreciate it. I don't want to go on about it, but just thanks if you do. But with all that out of the way, let's have a look at today's challenges. Today we're going to be looking at the branched evolutions of Burmy, which are Mothim and Wormadam. And Wormadam's three forms, Wormadam Plant Cloak, Sandy Cloak, and Trash Cloak. Now at level 20, a male Burmy will evolve into Mothim, whereas female Burmy will evolve into Wormadam, whose form will be the same as that of the Burmy it evolved from. So a Grass Cloak Burmy, for example, can only evolve into Grass Cloak Wormadam. And the difference between Burmy's Cloak and Wormadam's Cloak is Wormadam's is permanent. It will not change based on environment like Burmy's. But what makes these technically four branched evolutions of Burmy so different? Let's take a look. According to the Pokédex, Mothim is 0.9 meters tall and weighs 23.3 kilograms. Its Pokédex information says it loves the honey of flowers and steals honey collected by Combi. It flutters around at night and steals honey from the Combi hive. That's it. That's literally all the Pokédex has to say. That's Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby's Pokédex entries for Mothim. Like, it's the same with Wormadam. They really did not write a lot about these Pokemon. I don't think they're particularly cared for. I think they were just kind of thrown in Gen 4. Each of the Wormadam forms are 0.5 meters tall and weigh 6.5 kilograms. Their Pokédex information, as extensive as it is, says its appearance changes depending on where it evolved. The materials on hand become a part of its body. When Burmy evolved, its cloak became a part of this Pokemon's body. The cloak is never shed. See what I mean? Like, they really don't go into detail about these Pokemon. Appearance-wise, Mothim is exactly what you'd expect, a moth with orange wings, and Wormadam is a charcoal bagworm with bushy leaves over it in Plant Cloak form, what appears to be straw and rocks in Sandy Cloak form, and pink, almost bubblegum-looking garbage in Trash Cloak form. In their shiny variations, Mothim's light orange areas turn yellow and its dark orange areas turn to blue. And as for the three Wormadam forms, they barely change. Like, honestly, does anybody in the development room care about these Pokemon? Will they make it into Sword and Shield? I don't think so, because I don't think anyone cares. Now let's have a look at their typing, weaknesses, and resistances. Mothim is a dual-type bug and flying-type Pokemon, which makes it weak to flying, rock, fire, electric, and ice-type moves, with the rock-type weakness being a 4x weakness. Mothim resists fighting, bug, and grass-type attacks and is completely immune to ground-type moves. Wormadam Plant Cloak is a dual-type bug and grass-type Pokemon, which makes it weak to flying, poison, rock, bug, fire, and ice-type moves, with the flying and the fire-type weaknesses both being 4x weaknesses. It resists fighting, ground, water, grass, and electric-type moves and has no immunities. As for Wormadam, Sand is a dual-type bug and ground-type Pokemon, which makes it weak to flying, fire, water, and ice-type moves, and this time, no 4x weaknesses. It resists fighting, poison, and ground-type moves and is completely immune to electric-type attacks. And finally, Wormadam Trash is a dual-type bug and steel Pokemon. This makes it weak to only fire, but it is a 4x weakness. It resists normal, bug, steel, grass, psychic, ice, dragon, and fairy type attacks, and has complete immunity to poison type moves. Now let's have a look at the stats and abilities of these branched evolutions. Mothim certainly isn't blessed stat-wise. It has brilliant attack and special attack, but lacks the bulk or speed to survive on the battlefield for very long, leaving it vulnerable to being taken out before it can even use a move. Its primary ability is Swarm, which powers up bug type moves when Mothim's HP is less than 1/3 of maximum, which, given how situational that is, doesn't really offer much help to this fragile Pokemon. Its hidden ability is Tinted Lens, which doubles the power of not very effective moves used by Mothim. This is very helpful in getting that little bit more firepower out of Mothim's best stats. As for Wormadam, each form has different stats. Firstly, Plant Cloak Wormadam has excellent special defense and decent physical defense and special attack, with below average HP and physical attack and very low speed. As for Sandy Cloak Wormadam, it has the same stats, however the physical attack and defense are switched with the special attack and defense respectively. And finally, Trash Cloak Wormadam has the attacking and defensive stats evened out, thus making the defensive stats both 95 and the attacking stats both 69. Nice! All three forms of Wormadam share the same abilities, with their primary ability being Anticipation, which makes the Pokemon shudder if an opponent has a super effective move or a one-hit KO move. Whilst knowing if your opponent has a one-hit KO move can be handy, unless it's a no-guard Pokemon, you don't really need to be too worried because they're like 30% accuracy. And more often than not, you're going to know already if an opposing Pokemon is likely to have a super effective move against you, because when you're in a competitive battle, you'll have done your research. So this ability to me is really kind of pointless. Their hidden ability is Overcoat, which protects Wormadam from weather conditions like Sandstorm and also from powder moves like Poison Powder or Spore. It also prevents the effects of an opponent's Effect Spore ability. This is the go-to ability for Wormadam, as anything you can do to protect this Pokemon from more damage than it needs to take is always going to be a godsend. Now it's time for me to decide which of the branched evolutions of Burmy I prefer, and God, it's a mixed bag, innit? I guess I like Mothim's look. Like, I like the look of Mothim more than I like the look of Wormadam, but then that's because Wormadam is just a bagworm, and who's a fan of bagworms? Like, is anyone? I don't know anyone that's a fan of bagworms. If you're a fan of bagworms, let me know in the comments below, because it just looks like a bushy, swingy nutsack. I'm not really into that, I suppose. But from a battle point of view, I prefer the stats of Wormadam. It's just really hard because it's got such crap typing as well. I guess Bug Ground's okay, so I guess maybe Sandy Cloak is the one that I want to go for, but I'm really not convinced. Like, this is one of those, I feel bad. This is like Volbeat and Illumise all over again. It's one of those where I really just don't like these Pokemon. But of course, it isn't just up to this arsehole to decide which is my favorite. It's up to you guys to decide which is your favorite. But before you do, let's have a little fun. Let's see these Pokemon on the battlefield. It's time for the Metronome battle. Before we get started, I'll point out these Pokemon have max IVs in all stats, 0 EVs in all stats. They're not holding any items. They've got neutral natures. The only advantage or disadvantage any of these Pokemon gets comes from their typing or their base stats. And because it's a kind of free-for-all situation, because there's 4 Pokemon, what I've done is I've used a random number generator to decide which Pokemon goes where, put them in the position on the field, and I'm hoping that one Pokemon is left standing, because then that'll be the winner of the Metronome battle. But honestly, it's just a Metronome battle. It's just a bit of fun. Doesn't really make much of a difference. Let's just get into it. Let's go. Here we go. It's Mothim versus Wormadam, Plant, Sandy, and Trash. It's going to be free-for-all style, so if you're a fan of Game Boy Luke or you're a fan of Duncan Can't Die, you'll be familiar with the free-for-all format. Basically just means last Pokemon standing is your winner. Everyone can effectively attack everyone, although it's a bit awkward in a Metronome battle, so the people side by side may not attack each other. There's extreme speed from Mothim onto Sandcloak, but basically whoever's last standing is the winner. I'm doing my best here. Everyone's position's been chosen by a random number generator, just to be fair. There's some bind from Wormadam Grass onto Wormadam Trash that will damage Wormadam Trash throughout this battle, as Trash goes for First Impression, which on the first turn will indeed work, dealing some stab bug-type damage onto Wormadam Sand, who's not having the greatest time right now, as it fires back with Cross Chop, which is not going to be very effective at all on Mothim there. So I believe that's quad resisted by Mothim, so only a bit of chip damage. There is the bind on Wormadam Trash, sucking a little bit of the HP away there, just squeezing the life out of it. Mothim starts off the next turn with a Brick Break onto Wormadam Plant, doing a decent amount of damage for a not very effective hit there. And what will Wormadam Grass Cloak do? I keep saying Plant. It is Plant. Yeah, Wormadam Plant, who is a grass type, goes for Disable on Mothim, so Mothim can't use Metronome, which means until that Disable wears off, Mothim is going to have to struggle and hit itself. That is not good for Mothim. Here's a Power-Up Punch from Wormadam Trash onto Wormadam Plant, increasing its attack stat by 1 stage. That's a great play right there. Now it's over to Sandy Wormadam. What will that do? It's going to go for Spike Cannon onto Mothim, chipping away at that HP there. Critical hit on that second hit. There's a third hit, 3 hits, and that puts Mothim in danger because Mothim is going to do 25% recoil damage to itself every time it struggles because of its disabled Metronome. And of course, there is more bind damage on Trash. There's the struggle, dealing a tiny bit of damage to Wormadam Plant, but doing massive damage to Mothim itself, who probably has 2 more turns left in it if it avoids the hits. But here's a Roar of Time, though, from Wormadam Trash onto Wormadam Plant for a decent amount of damage, not as much damage as you'd want from a Roar of Time. It will have to recharge next turn as well, which is a bit dangerous, but what a great hit. Here's an Ice Shard onto Mothim from Wormadam Grass, putting it in very real danger. It's definitely going to knock itself out with Struggle on the next turn if it isn't removed from Disable, as Sandy Cloak goes for the Amnesia and raises its special defense by 2 stages, just playing it safe. There's more bind damage on Wormadam Trash, who really needs to get out of that if it wants any hope of surviving this battle. Mothim has no moves left. It is going to struggle and damage Wormadam Sand just that little bit, knock itself out with the recoil. We have 1 Pokemon out, and it's all down to Wormadams now. We have 3 Wormadams on the field, still raring to go. Here's Astonish from Wormadam Sand onto Wormadam Trash, dealing a little bit of damage there, and now it's Plant's turn. What will Plant do here? I'm going to go for Rototiller, or if we say it as though we're Spanish, I guess it'd be Rototie. Rototie? Rototie? What am I doing with my life? I don't know. Answers on a postcard. Hit the join button to become a member. But there you go. It has raised the attack and special attack of Wormadam Plant as more bind damage works on Wormadam Trash there. What's next for these Pokemon? Wormadam Trash is ready and raring to go. It's gone for the Metro. I'm going to go for Fell Stinger with that increased attack stat as well. If that gets a knockout, that would be very, very good for Wormadam Plant, but there, Fell Stinger fails to take down Wormadam Sand, but puts it right in the danger zone. Poison Powder, of course, isn't going to affect any of the Pokemon on the field right now. Would have affected Mothim, but none of these Overcoat Pokemon because of their hidden ability. Overcoat, there you go. Perfect example of it. Earth Power, which is Stab from Wormadam Sandy, doing a great amount of damage to Wormadam Trash. Wormadam Trash down to 1 hit point because of that bind damage. If that bind continues, then Wormadam Trash is gone on the next turn, and we'll have a bit of a tie. Here's an Ice Ball, +1 attack Ice Ball from Wormadam Sand, Wormadam Trash onto Wormadam Sand, takes it down with the Ice Ball. Of course, it's locked itself into Ice Ball, but Ice Ball will also get progressively stronger, and is one of Wormadam Plant's weaknesses, who goes for Gear Up, and it fails. What a bad move. Freed from the bind, so Wormadam Plant couldn't even steal a victory. Here is the Ice Ball from Wormadam Trash, taking down Wormadam Plant, and we have a winner in this fantastic metronome battle between these bloody bagworms. How wonderful. So well done to Wormadam. They've absolutely done it. My dog's going crazy. So you've heard what I've got to say, you've seen these Pokemon on the battlefield, now it's time for you to make your decision. Which of the 4 branched evolutions of Burmy do you prefer? Is it Mothim, Wormadam Plant Cloak, Wormadam Sandy Cloak, or Wormadam Trash Cloak? Let me know in the comments and explain to everybody why your pick is the absolute best. And that's where I'm going to leave this episode of Form Fight. I hope you enjoyed it. Get excited, because next week is Form Fight 100, by the way. Hit like on this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. If you want to support me on Patreon like these lovely people here do, patreon.com/AceTrainerLiam. That's the place to be. And of course, until next time, I'm Ace Trainer Liam. Keep on training.